We understand the need to do something effective against this PKK threat. The PKK is an enemy of the U.S., just like it is an enemy of the Turks. Condoleezza Rice, U.S. Secretary of State.
Welcome back to Inside Iraq. We are discussing the rising tension between Iraq and Turkey, whether peace or war will be the outcome in the next few weeks. Suad, exactly what is it Turkey wants from Iraq?
We want Iraq to take control of its territory. We want Iraq not to become a threat to its neighbors. We don't want Iraq to aid and abet terrorists that are attacking Turkish civilians and Turkish security forces.
If Iraq is incapable of doing that, or perhaps not willing to do that, not willing to hand over the PKK leaders, do you see military operations in the cards?
We look forward to the meeting on Monday between President Bush and Prime Minister Erdogan, and I think then the government will get together and decide what course of action will be taken. Military action is still on the table, and as we indicated in the motion passed through Parliament, military action, if it comes to it, we don't want it, but if it comes to it, aims only at the PKK and its bases. Those who aid and abet the PKK will also suffer the consequences, be they economic, political, or military.
What are you saying? That military operation will not be limited to the mountainous area, but it might go south all the way perhaps to the population centers?
What I'm saying is those who aid and abet, and if there's those available in the north, will suffer consequences.
Mr. Mahmoud, the Turkish president, Mr. Gül, said something very telling. He said, I remind Mr. Masoud al-Barzani that the Americans are not going to be in Iraq all the time. One day they are going to pull out. This is almost an implicit threat that one day you will be on your own and we will come after you. Do you see that perhaps just a threat or something perhaps the Turkish military and Turkey one day will contemplate, and that is to thwart this regional autonomy for the Kurds?
You see, we are looking to the friend in Turkey as a friend. We have historical relations with Turkey. It is not a new one. And we are ready to sit together and to study all the possibility outside the military solutions. My Prime Minister is going today to Istanbul. He will meet all the foreign ministers. The Secretary Condoleezza Rice will be there. Hoshiyar Zebari will be there. The Turkish foreign minister will be there. And we will have a good opportunity to sit together and to discuss everything. We could study all the peaceful ways.
But Mr. Mahmoud, the discussion, the time for the discussion has passed. The Turkish officials, they keep going back and forth. And Iraq says, you know, we are going to do something about it. And yet, the explosion happens and the killing is happening and the Turkish soldiers are getting killed. Do you see that patience really has run out for the Turks?
Yes, we have to sit as soon as possible, and we have to start together as soon as possible by our cooperation, the Turkish side, the American side, the Iraqi side, and to stop this kind of danger against everybody, not only against the Turkish friend, against the Turkish people, even it is against our people in Iraq. We want to put hand in hand and work together. This is a danger for the region. This is not easy to use the force. The use of force in the area will be a very dangerous consequences, not only on Iraq, but in the region. You know, this is very sensitive region, and we have to think carefully about any step we could take in the future. But we are ready now, and now it is the good opportunity. The Prime Minister is there, and everybody will be there. And this is
Mr. Schmierer,
everything is ready now.
Mr. Schmierer, can the U.S. afford a Turkish military operations in the north? I mean, since their backs are to the wall and there is no way they can accept the current situation, they are under tremendous pressure. Erdogan went to parliament. He was given the green light to go ahead and conduct military operations within 1 year. Can the U.S. do something here?
Well, of course, the U.S., as I had mentioned, is very actively engaged at very high levels. As your other two guests have indicated, the situation there really is one that could provoke great instability. That's in nobody's interest. Certainly Turkey and Iraq, and we as well, would not like to see such instability spill over into that region. All three of our countries and many others have suffered from terrorism of this type for years, and we're all united against it. And so the key is to find mechanisms for dealing with this kind of issue without resorting to violence. It would not be helpful for any of the parties to have to resort to violence, but it needs to be resolved. And so that's what we're very actively engaged in doing. Today in Istanbul, next week in Washington, and I'm confident that measures can be found for addressing this without resorting to violence.
I wish I could agree with John. However, the last couple of years have shown that diplomatic measures go only so far. We continue to lose civilians and soldiers in Turkey. I hope that the meetings today and tomorrow will produce, and obviously Monday, will produce an effective outcome. However, barring anything short of that, I'm afraid Turkey will have to use its powers both in the economic and political, and if need be in the military area, to prevent PKK terrorists entering Turkey, killing our soldiers and civilians. We as a state have our primary responsibility to protect our citizens, and we can no longer tolerate the situation that's going on for the last couple of years.
Mr. Shmira, what do you make of the Iraqi request asking the Iranians to intervene somehow to resolve this issue? Suddenly the Iranians, they have become the troubleshooter for the region?
Well, we certainly don't see it that way. Our discussions, of course, are with the Turks and with the Iraqis, and we believe that that forum is the proper way to proceed. The Neighbors Ministerial in Istanbul, as our distinguished Iraqi guest has indicated, provides an excellent forum for discussing this issue in a broader way with a number of countries in the region. But our engagement directly is with the Turks and with the Iraqis, and we feel that that mechanism is one that will help us towards resolving this issue.
A few days ago, the Pentagon has announced that they are sharing vital information with the Turks about the PKK. This sharing of information, is it necessarily lays the ground for a military operation, or this is just because they are a member of NATO, so they are obliged to give them the necessary information?
Well, of course, we're looking for any means we can to help resolve this issue. I will have to leave to those who are conducting discussions at higher levels as to specific efforts or actions that would be taken. But we are looking for means to resolve this, and if that can be one of them, then we think that might be helpful.
Mr. Mahmoud, if Istanbul does not generate any concrete results for the Turks, and if the meeting in the Oval Office between Erdogan and President Bush does not satisfy the Turks, can you see military operations in the next few weeks?
Well, always as a diplomat, I am thinking on the peaceful ways. And I think, I am convinced that the peaceful ways are the only way to
That is your point of view. Let me ask the last questions to Suad.
Yes.
Suad, if Monday's crucial meeting between Erdogan and Bush generates nothing, what next?
We will wait for our Prime Minister to return to Turkey. The government, the cabinet will get together with the Chief of Staff, and then appropriate action will be taken. Let me underline that military option is not the only thing on the table. There are economic and other measures that could be taken. That said, if our Prime Minister will not be satisfied with the outcome of the meeting in Washington, I'm afraid we will have to take action that will remedy the situation decisively.
Gentlemen, thank you for being guests on Inside Iraq. To access the show and to send us your comments, please go to aljazeera.net/English. We have reached the end of this show. Join me next week when we take another look inside Iraq. Goodbye.